Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we are harvesting garlic. So let's have a look at the garlic I have here, hopefully ready to harvest. When you're harvesting garlic, you're going to want a hand fork. It's really important to get the whole garlic bulb out without breaking the top of it. Trust me, you don't want to break the top. It's really, really hard to get the bulb out if the top snaps off, and it also makes that bulb harder to store for long periods of time. So let's have a look at how I harvest my garlic. First of all, when I get to my garlic bed to harvest, and I have the garlic scattered all over the place, so if you have a different, more sensible lines of garlic, you might be able to harvest them with an actual dig in with your foot fork, but because I've got my garlic dotted all over the place, I go in with my hand fork. So first I see if I'm gonna get lucky and the garlic will just pull out, but I don't usually get lucky, so I get my hand fork and quite a distance away from where I think the bulb is, I'm gonna put my fork right in and give it a little bit of a loosen up of the soil, and I'm gonna do that in a square all around that garlic. It can sometimes help to do a really nice watering of your garden before you come out to try and do this. But I haven't done that, so we're just gonna see. So once you've loosened the soil up around it, then you can see if your garlic is willing to come out. And if it's still not playing the game, remember, don't snap the top off. Err on the side of caution. And there's your garlic. Right, let's see if this next one will come out as painlessly as that one did. So find your garlic, think about where the bulb is likely to be, and make sure you don't stick your fork through it. Loosen that soil up. And see if it will come out. Nope, not wanting to come out yet. Now I have broken so many tops off garlic that I am excessively cautious with my pulling these days. There we go. Nice and easy. Let's have a look at harvesting garlic out of a grow bag. These garlic here in this grow bag are the garlic that I planted, well, 6 months ago now, and showed you a video on that, on how to plant garlic, and now they're all ready to harvest. With the grow bags, it can be a lot easier to manage your moisture. So if you've given them the good water the day before, or even the same day, you can probably just pull them out. But again, be very careful, don't apply too much force. Give them a pull, give them a wiggle, see if they're happy to come out. If they're not happy to come out, use your garden fork to assist them out. But these ones look like they're pretty happy to come out. And that is a nice, easy garlic harvest. It's one of the reasons I really enjoy growing garlic in the grow bags. And there it is. Easy, easy way to harvest your garlic. Okay, I'm gonna harvest up the rest of this garlic and then I'll show you how to get it prepped and ready for curing. Once I've harvested all the garlic I'm gonna harvest that day, I like to rinse it off with the hose. Now, some people say don't rinse it at all, don't wash it, just hang it up to cure straight out of the ground. And I mean, that's good advice. I like to rinse it off when it comes straight out of the garden, because it's already damp from the garden, and it just helps me to get a bit of the soil off it, because once I've done this, once I've rinsed it, it's now not going to get washed at all, except for, just to brush off some dry dirt, until it's going to be eaten. So it could be, well, it could be 12 months from now before it gets any more cleaning. So I like to just give it a nice rinse off, get some soil out of the roots, keeps things tidier because I do usually hang the garlic in my house to dry, so I do like to not have little piles of dirt everywhere that it's hanging. So let's talk about how you're going to hang it to cure. Now, when I'm talking about curing garlic, all I mean is hanging it up to dry, to let the tops of it completely dry out so they're not green anymore. It takes me 2-3 weeks, and then it is going to store for a long time. So this is fresh garlic, which you can go ahead and use straight away to eat, but it won't store well if you just take it like this and try and store it. It needs to cure, it needs to dry out so it's ready for storage. So let's look at what I like to do to get it dry and ready to store. If I haven't got a lot of garlic, I like to use one of these little laundry hangers, I suppose, and I just pop the garlic onto the pegs, and then I just pop it somewhere in my house with good airflow and wait till it dries out. Now, you do need to cure garlic out of direct sunlight. It does need to cure in a shed or in a house, somewhere that the sun is not going to shine directly on it. So if you've got a deck or something like that, that might be fine. But if the sun shines right in onto your curing garlic, you want to find a shadier spot for it. So this is what I do if I haven't got a whole lot, or if I just want it in the house because it smells nice. But if I have a lot, which I do have more than usual this year, I use an actual laundry hanging rack, one of the big fold out racks that you can use to hang your laundry on. I pop that into my garden shed and hang all the garlic off that. Just walk away and leave it for 2 weeks or 3, depending on how it's going, and then it's all ready to store. Right, I need to go find somewhere for this to hang out and cure. We're going to come back in a few weeks' time, and I'm going to show you how to store your garlic so it lasts as long as possible. Here we are. It's been a few weeks since I harvested the garlic. It's been sitting in my garden shed, well, hanging in my garden shed, curing, which just means it's been drying out and getting ready to store for the long term. So it's really, really important that you let your garlic get all dry and ready to store, or it won't keep. It will still be fresh garlic, and you can't store fresh garlic for a long time. The way you tell that your garlic is ready to prep for storage is it will all be dried out, so no more green tops. It will be nice and sort of dry and crispy. And the stalk area that goes into the bulb of garlic will be soft. So particularly if you've grown a hardneck variety of garlic, when you've harvested, this area will be quite stiff. You know it's ready to prep for storage when that is nice and floppy and not firm anymore. So let's look at what you're going to do to store it for the long term. So to get your bulb ready to store, you're going to get some sharp scissors or garden shears. You're just going to chop the top off. I like to leave a little bit of a tail here. You don't want to chop it too close to the bulb itself. And if there's really long roots, I will trim them, but this one's not too bad, so it doesn't really need trimming. Then I like to use a cotton mesh bag to do the storing in. I don't really like to use paper. You definitely don't want to use plastic. And I put, depending on the size of the bulbs, I put between 3 and 5 in each bag. The reason I like the small bags and not too many bulbs in each bag is because if one starts to just go a little bad as you're heading months and months into storage, it's not going to take too many other bulbs with it. If you've put all your garlic into one big sack, well, A, the airflow for all of the garlic in there isn't great, and B, if one starts to go, they'll all start to go. So keep small bags and small numbers for storage. And that is really all there is to storing it. You want to hang your bags so there's airflow all around them. So for me, I just tie them to the top of a wire shelf and they all just hang there along my shelf, which is really good for space saving because other things can go in underneath them and they're just hanging from the top of the shelf, and it's really, really good. You want to keep them out of any direct sunlight, both for storing and for while they're curing. You don't want them out in the blazing sun, so just somewhere they're getting no direct sunlight. Dark is good, but if that's not totally possible, they'll be fine. And that is all there is to storing your garlic. I've had garlic go a whole 12 months before. It does depend a little bit on the varieties you're growing, but you should get a good 6 months out of a well-stored, well-ventilated bag of garlic bulbs.